What's good, y'all? Welcome to another amazing episode of the
Back
Bull
again.
HTP Sports Podcast. Don't be a hater. Make sure you be a participator. Click that like, click that subscribe. Make sure y'all leave a comment. I got my homie with me. It's been a couple weeks since we've been back on at the same time. What's good, bro?
What's good? What's up? What's up, ladies and gents, players and pimps? It's been a long time. We back with another episode. Tapping in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last month of the year, man. We about to definitely go give y'all a bunch of good analysis in these sports this last month before we head into the new year. We gonna give y'all the best we got. You know what I mean?
Got a lot coming up. Got a lot going on in the sports world. College playoffs, NFL playoffs coming down to the home stretch.
For sure.
Wild card, championship games, all of that. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. And with that said, we just entered the last full month of the NFL regular season. So this is a perfect time to segue into contenders and pretenders. So basically what we gonna do, me and my partner Nady, we go through a couple of teams, more than a couple, but a lot of teams and tell y'all if they contenders or pretenders. And we'll go back to this about a month from now and see how we looked with what we said and everything. We gonna start off. What you want to start off with, the NFC or the AFC, bro?
Let's do AFC first.
AFC. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we gonna start with the ones we know for sure, and but maybe you might got a different opinion, or maybe I might got a different opinion. So,
Right.
do you want to kind of like detail into what you mean or what we mean when we say contender? Like, does that mean Super Bowl, or does that mean they have a chance
Do
for
we
the
say
playoffs?
so when we say contenders, we gonna say that this team has a valid, plausible pathway to winning a Super Bowl this year. Valid,
Mm,
valid.
Super Bowl, not even just making some noise.
So, well, okay, to make it to the Super Bowl, to make it to the Super Bowl game. How about that?
Damn, that's only two. That's only two. What about what?
Well,
What about conference championship?
all right, we can do that. We can do
Because
that. We
once
can
you
do
get to
that.
the conference championship, it's a flip of a coin,
That
supposedly.
that yeah, yeah,
So we're
yeah.
gonna do
That yeah,
conference championship?
that's it's hard. That's hard enough in itself. So yeah, we
Right,
can do that.
right, right. All right, so we're gonna start with the AFC, like you said. I'm gonna start from the top with the AFC East. Some teams that has well, it looks like only one got playoff potential, but we'll go through two of them. Buffalo Bills. What we think? What we think?
I uh, uh, I I think they're definitely contenders. Uh, but I mean they've been the consistent contenders pick every year,
Yeah.
and they've kind of fell short. In the recent years that they were being picked. Um, but I mean, hey, you got a quarterback like that, you have a chance, and they've went out and made a few trades to upgrade their team. So I would say that they have as good as a chance as anybody else in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Bills to me is the type of team that they can lose their first matchup, which it probably won't be in the first round. Look like they might have a no. Well, they won't get the ball if the Chiefs still stay in front of them, but they have an opportunity to lose in the first round, and they actually
Right.
can make the Super Bowl. Like it's because their team's not dominant at all.
Hit or miss.
But you got a top five quarterback, possibly MVP of this year, of the season.
Right.
So for me, I definitely say they're a contender. But I wouldn't be surprised by anything with them, whatever happens with them in the playoffs, whether it's a loss in the first round, loss in the second round, get blown out in the first round, or blow somebody else out in the first. Like I don't know, but I'm gonna definitely put them as a contender. Um, Next we got, and this is a tough one. When I say tough, I mean like because they're actually under 500. Um, but I feel like they possibly can be scary if they get in there. Miami Dolphins, they're sitting at 5-7 right now. They will have to catch up in the wild card for that seventh seed.
Uh,
2 games back.
yeah. I mean, you do like the roster. You like the shiny toys that they got over there on offense. But I don't know if I'm willing to call them a contender. So I'm gonna go with pretender, just for the mere fact that um, their night could be over at any given time. All that has to be done is a tackle could miss a hit, or a blitz can't be picked up. Somebody sneezes on Tua, and that's it. it's curtains for him. So a lot rests on the shoulders of Tua. I just don't know if the offensive line could hold up and play flawless in order for them to really make a run. So I just don't see it.
Well, just to let you know, the team that they have a best chance of catching will be the Denver Broncos, which they're playing some good football right now. But
Right,
I mean, I mean, if they could catch, they're only 2 games back. Like, so if they could catch him, like, it's still a rookie quarterback. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So,
right.
but I think it's definitely tough with only 4 games remaining. They're gonna need to pretty much win out and hope that Denver loses too.
That's gonna be yeah. It's gonna be in order for them to do that, pull that off. It's gonna be a historic run, sprinkled in with a little bit of help from outside factors.
For sure, for sure. So you said pretender or contender?
I'm gonna say pretender with them. I
Yeah, I
just, I
mean,
just, I just can't trust I just can't trust the help. I mean, everything could be hitting on all cylinders, but all it takes is that one. You know what I'm saying? And it
right.
seems like the hit. It seems like the power of the hit could be less and less, and this dude is just not going to recover. So I don't know.
See, for me, at this point in the season, it's not the health. If you ask me this in the first week, I'd be like, I don't know if you can make it through 18 weeks in the season. But at this point, I'm like, it's only 4 games. But it ain't. That's not the reason. I have them as a pretender, but it's only because they
Right.
dug themselves too much of a hole.
Too
I feel
much
like
of
I
a
don't
hole.
think. Yeah, I don't think. Being that it's only 4 games left, if they was like 1 game behind, I would really contemplate making them a contender because they're not an easy team to knock out, especially if they don't have to play in super cold weather. I don't know
Right.
where they would play. Pretty much every team that's in the AFC that's crazy if you think about it, is a cold weather team outdoors, except for Houston Texans. You got Buffalo, you got Ravens, you got Kansas
Ravens,
City,
Kansas
you got
City, yeah,
Denver. All them places is
Pittsburgh.
cold.
Oh yeah,
Pittsburgh, like it's all
yeah.
cold. So the only matchup they would love would be the Houston Texans because they don't want to
Dang,
go to
yeah,
that cold weather.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to put them as a pretender if you really base out, like you said, everything. If you put factor in the injuries, like you said, the weather of the team, they would have to play if they did go, or in being so far behind. So they're definitely a pretender. Um, Next we gonna go to the AFC North. We got the division leading Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-3, 2 games ahead of
Oh,
Pittsburgh, and they beat them right now head to head. So they pretty much 2.5 games
listen, man, I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna keep singing this song, man. Coaching matters. I don't know how Mike Tomlin does it year in and year out.
for sure.
It damn sure don't look pretty all the time. But th- one thing you could count on with the Steelers, and this is for a couple of teams in that division. One thing you can count on with the Steelers and the Ravens, what it comes down to, is that they are tough out. It don't matter if they got a quarterback that's injured and they got the backup playing. It don't matter if they got a few guys that's out on defense or a few guys that's out on offense. You know, you in for a hell like one of them steel cage matches whenever you play these
Sure.
guys. Like for whatever reason, I mean it don't look good, but the results are there. They win. So I'm
Right.
gonna just take the time to say I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I look at the Steelers and the Ravens as potentially being contenders and not pretenders, but contenders. Because listen, especially if you got to go play at their home, it's tough. They just a tough out regardless. Coaching, whether talent wise, all of that, they always draft well. They're great organizations, great run organizations. What you think?
I mean, AFC wise, I feel the same about all the top teams. I feel like they can literally lose their first game or they can make it all the way to the championship. Um, that defense, even though who was that carved them up? Was that Winston that carved them up? No. The Bengals. The Bengals carved them up last week, even though they still won.
But yeah,
Steelers, uh, Pittsburgh defense. That one thing playoffs defense travels. Defense travels. That's one thing about it. Like you don't have to rely on Russell having a great game for them to move on. Like he can be mediocre and they can still win because the defense is really they're really legit. Pittsburgh on defense. Um, I believe that they are a contender. But like I said, the same thing. They can literally lose their first game. I
yeah,
think all the teams that's going to make the playoffs is capable of moving forward to the next round. Maybe Denver, I'm still shit. I want to see a little bit more with, but the rest of them, I feel like they're all capable. But I'm gonna go ahead and say with that defense, I don't think their running game is that good, but they're just consistent running. They don't give up on the run.
They going to try it. It's definitely not good, but they have an identity and they know what they want to do. They going to
Right,
definitely pound it. It might
right,
not, it might be one day what's his name? Najee Harris might be averaging 2.5 yards a carry. Then the next
right,
game might be averaging 5 yards a carry, 6 yards
right,
a carry.
right.
So,
You just
but
don't
one
know
thing they gonna feed him. They gonna
for
feed him.
sure.
He gonna have the carries, but it like I said, they don't. It's never really pretty with them, but the results it is. So
Facts. See, so with that, I go contender still with them. But we go see with them for sure. We got another team in that division, the Baltimore Ravens, who actually is not impressive to me this year, record wise. But Baltimore Ravens,
I'm gonna say contender as well. Just off of the track record of the talent that they have and the coaching that they have, they just solid to me. So I can never like turn them away and look at them as not being a dangerous team come playoff time. I mean, they definitely. I mean, to me, they could. They have it. They have a defense. They have one of the most dynamic players on offense in the league. They have great coaching. They're disciplined. So, I mean, we just haven't seen them. Just like the Bills, we haven't really seen them get over the hump. So,
right,
I'm gonna
right.
still say contenders. I'm gonna still say contenders.
Yeah, for me, the Ravens, I don't like their secondary. I like their defense, but I mean, obviously, we know Kyle Hamilton is amazing, probably one of the best safeties in the league. But as a whole, their secondary does not hold up game after game. But their first to second level on defense is amazing. Um, when you got Lamar Jackson, who's one, two, or three top players in the NFL every year, you always have a chance. You're gonna always be a contender until he loses that athletic ability, like a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Because he's gonna lose some of it here, and over the next 5 years, he's gonna start losing it. But I'm talking about like a lot
A
before
lot,
you
yeah.
can say, all right, the Ravens aren't stamped to be a contender. Every year they're going to be stamped to be a contender by just having him. And then you add Derrick Henry to the fold, and I feel like some of them games where they don't give him a lot of the carries, I feel like they're just trying to save his body so they can really go crazy
Do damage in the player, yeah.
playoffs. And they're gonna be tough, man. They gonna be a tough part. I can't wait till we predict the playoffs. Like once we get to like that part of how we think the
Right.
playoff matchups are gonna pan out and everything. But I think the Ravens for me is definitely a contender. Like that's a no brainer for me. Um, we're in the AFC South. I'm gonna go do one team in this one because I don't think the Colts. I think everyone said will say the same thing unanimously about the Colts without a thought. So we're just gonna go
Right.
with the Houston Texans.
The Texans, I like the Texans coming in to this year. And I thought they would get a little bit more resistance in their division. Hasn't turned out that way, but I'm gonna say pretenders. I think they're one more year away. Another draft and another free agency signing here or there. I think they're one more year away, and I only say that because I'm comparing them to the upper echelon of the teams that we have already mentioned in the AFC
Right.
and the other teams that we have yet to mention. Uh, Once we get into the other division in the AFC. So um, I'm gonna just say that they're a pretender. I do like the pieces that they have, but I think they're a few players away.
I believe the Texans are a beneficiary of being in a weak division. Watched a nice amount of their games this year. I haven't been impressed with any games of theirs. I actually think they're more than a year away. They have no offensive line, and that's when I feel like an offensive line takes just as long as a quarterback. Sometimes even worse because you get quarterbacks like Stroud that come in and go crazy, Jaden Daniels that come in and go crazy, RG3 when he first came in, Russell Wilson when he. You don't typically see an O line just change because of one O lineman when they're a
Right.
really bad team. It takes a while to build that, and they're really like Stroud doesn't even have time to a point when he does have time, he don't feel like he got time because he gets hit so much. And you can see the difference in him this year compared to last year. And if you remember our episode, the first episode we did, and we was talking about these when we was doing our picks. One
Right.
thing I said about Stroud, I said I'm not sure because everyone was big on them because they picked up
Diggs.
Mixon and Diggs. And I said one thing I don't like with young quarterbacks is when you make them think too much. Meaning he was comfortable. Nico's my number one guy,
Right.
and I could go to Dell. Now you got another wide receiver that's a diva, and you're
Alpha dog. Yeah.
overthinking
Yep.
who you need to go to. Plus, you got to worry about that line. So, and I seen it even before Diggs got hurt. I was watching it like they
Yeah.
games.
You.
I felt like he was just not sure. He was overthinking. Like, all right, he ain't got the ball in two possessions. I got to make sure I get him the ball, rather than just playing the game and going to your correct reads. And that's what I seen this year with Stroud. Plus the line. So I don't think much of them. I got them as a pretender. I think they're in the weak division, and even the Colts is only 2 games back, and they had a chance to beat them when they played them. So I don't think it's I don't think they're anything but a pretender right now. Now to the one of the best divisions in football. Got the Kansas City Chiefs. Your division.
Yeah. This the way this division played out this year. Definitely, I'm not surprised. Given the way that it has consistently played out this year, compared to the last few years, but this definitely wasn't the way I envisioned this season to go. With being a Raider fan, but yeah, man. I mean, what can you say? Kansas City, man. I mean, uh, they can win any type of way. They can win ugly. They can win in a track meet. It could be they could win in cold weather. They can win in warm weather. Like it don't matter. And hey, a lot of people talk about the officiating, which there has been a lot of questionable calls, and a lot of their games have been decided by one score. Um, but again, I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the win column, you look at the loss column. They are the top of the league again, and they're threatening to win again and become that NFL dynasty that we have yet to see in a long time since the '90s.
Yeah.
So, and I trust me, as a Raider fan, I don't want to see it, but I have to give credit to where credit is due. Um, Contender in all capital letters.
Okay. Okay. I mean, like you said, it's the Chiefs, man. They have not impressed me at all this year. I can't. This might be the first time the 11-1 team has not impressed me in a very long time. They have one loss and they're not impressive to me at all. They struggle with good and bad teams. But
Mhm.
somebody said in another show I was on, they said you got why do we look at them having close games as a bad thing? That just means they know how to win in the end.
Battle tested.
Now,
Yeah.
but I said no, that's not true.
Mhm.
It's not like they're like the old Mahomes is driving and going game winning drives. And no, these teams are literally getting there to win and screwing it up, missing
They
field goals,
getting
getting
bailed
field
out.
goals blocked. They're getting bailed out or in the
Mhm.
ref thing. But even take out the refs, they have 2 or 3 games where the other team literally got there to win the game and they completely botched it. Like it's not Mahomes like I'm down 4 and I'm about to go and score a touchdown like we used to seeing them. That's not what he's
Right.
doing. So it's not impressive to me that these games that they're winning close. To me, that's gonna come back and bite you at some point. And there are contenders. We just all that I'm saying, no matter how you slice it, you got Patrick Mahomes and you got Andy Reid, you're a contender. It's pretty much the same shit
At
as
the
with
end
the
of the
Ravens in
day,
my
bro.
eye. They're the same as the Ravens to me. Like,
Right.
just better. They're better because they got the championships. But like how I look at them is, as long as you got those two, you got one on the field, one on the
You win there.
sideline, you in
Right.
there. You in there. So they're a contender. So I'm not gonna hold you, but I'm not impressed with them at all. And I definitely
Right.
wouldn't be surprised if they lost whenever their first game would be. And I wouldn't be surprised if they won the Super Bowl. It's that much of a wide range for me in the AFC. Um, Next we got the Chargers. John Harbaugh has
See,
turned this team around.
see, I wasn't a believer. I wasn't a believer in the Chargers coming into the year. I thought these were the same old Chargers that would, have crazy injuries, uh lose find a way to lose a game that they were leading uh, for like nearly 3 quarters. I thought this was going to be the same old Chargers. Justin Herbert seemed to have taken earlier in the season. He seemed to have taken a slight step back. But listen, man, like I always say, man, coaching matters, and
Yeah,
Harbaugh definitely came in the building, changed the culture. They play
completely.
hard, tough. They tough on defense. They run the ball, and as long as you got a talented quarterback with a talented arm in this league, you always have a chance. Always have a chance.
Yeah,
So They got the top two. They got a quarterback and they have a coach. So, are they a contender? I wouldn't say to me. I wouldn't say they're a contender, but I do give credit where credit is due. They definitely exceeded my expectations for this year, but I'm not ready to call them a contender, so I'm gonna call them a pretender.
Yeah, you know what? Like the Chargers, I thought decently of them because Harbaugh to me changes things. He like everywhere he's been, everywhere he's touched, it's been a big change. And one thing I would say, I hear a lot of people talking about Sean Payton as coach of the year. I hear people talk about the Lions coach of the year. Uh, they even mentioned Commanders and Eagles, and the reason they put the Commanders in well, the reason they put the Broncos in was because rookie quarterback. The reason they put the Commanders in is because rookie quarterback and have the most players overhaul in 1 year.
Mhm.
But the Chargers, literally outside of their quarterback, let go of their top three offensive weapons over the
Yeah,
past 5 years this
they
offseason.
for real.
Eckler, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen.
They were in salary cap hell.
And they let that go, and now they're in perfect position to make the playoffs after all these years. Was they're supposed to have made it with this talent, all this talent, they couldn't make it. As you say, coaching matters, and it's very clear that it matters. Honestly, I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if this team makes it to the championship. This team reminds me of the Alex Smith led Niners with a better quarterback.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't
I
be
would
surprised
not be
either.
surprised. Like I got them as a contender. I think they are one of the best teams in the NFL. I watched them go up against the Ravens. They had a good shot to win it. That's the team they don't want to see though in the playoffs. I think they could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. I know they play this week. I believe on Monday. No, it's not Monday. It's Sunday night. I believe they play. But and they should have won the first game they played this year. I think they could beat the Chiefs. I think they could beat the Steelers. That was a real good game when they played the Steelers as well.
Right when they
Like
play
they're
the
there.
Steelers.
They're right there. So I mean, like, and I don't know if they play Buffalo. I'm not sure, but I think they can compete with anybody in that AFC. Other than they need to stay away from the Ravens. The Ravens, just some matchups just don't work out. So yeah, I
Right, right,
got them
right.
as a contender. The last team in the AFC we got is the Denver Broncos. Surprise this season.
Man, listen, I knew the defense was going to be good. I didn't know they was going to be a top five unit. But that defense is playing. And look, I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. Sean Payton, he has a rookie quarterback, but Sean Payton has been around the block. He knows how to coach quarterbacks. He knows what a winning football team looks like. He's a former, Super Bowl winning coach.
Sure
So, I
is.
mean, look, the Broncos, they're another team that it's not always going to be pretty, but at the end of the day, what we want, results matter, right? So,
Yes, sir.
they're definitely in the race. I personally, I'm not ready to call them a contender, but I mean, look, the 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 margin, or I guess the line in the sand is really not hard to cross over, as you can see. I mean, a team could really literally get hot and have the right matchups and go straight to the AFC championship game. So, they have the talent? Yes, they do have the talent, but I'm just comparing um their counterparts and the teams that we had already discussed, as far as, like, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and Steelers. I just think they're a tad bit behind with that, so I'm gonna call them a pretender.
This is probably outside of Miami, which we shouldn't even probably talked about them. This is probably the easiest one for me. Um, Nothing against them. I think they're a very good team. I think they're like a year, maybe two away from being serious contenders. Um, all the teams we named in the AFC, this is the only one that's not in the top half in rushing. They don't have no run game. So that means you're gonna put in the playoffs everything on a rookie quarterback.
With the quarterback.
Believe you. I don't like that. I don't like it. Can the defense hold up to keep them decent for they don't look crazy? Yeah.
Yeah,
But with no run game in the playoffs, they literally don't have no. I don't think they had a 100-yard rusher all season. I'm pretty sure they didn't actually. Um, they have three running backs. None of them has fully popped out yet. I think they have potential. I think all three have very good potential actually. I think Deshaun is kind of holding them back by not just letting one be more the dominant and then have one change
Right.
of pace. He just one game is Williams going off, one game is McLaughlin, and then you see yes, what was that? You see Estime score
That's
touchdown. You see some other dude
yeah,
number
the
20.
little the rookie, yeah.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So I don't there's no consistency with their run game, so I don't think it's no chance. I have them as a pretender. And that's pretty much it for our AFC. So we pretty much had pretty much everything the same except for the Chargers. Yeah, I think just the Chargers the only thing we didn't have the same. I think everything
That
else
we disagreed on,
we
right?
agreed on.
Yeah.
Now we on to the NFC. And we'll start off with the top, the NFC East, man. This team's been hot, man. They probably one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles, man. Listen,